All right, guys. So today, as promised, we're going to talk a little bit about the fabric testing that we do as a company here at La-Z-Boy. I just wanted you guys to be able to see some of the things that we have. So first of all, everything that we do, we keep family in mind. We test our performance fabrics, normal and medium wear. Their durability is very important to us. And so, like I said, as we go through, you'll see some of what those tests look like and why we have the standards that we have. So the first one that you guys are probably most familiar with is the Weizenbeek method of testing. So this is our abrasion test. This is our double rub test. It's what the durability dots are referenced to on the top headrail of all the fabrics. So in this process, you can see the machine on the side has those little square kind of rubber bases. That's what we actually put our fabric on with the outside facing down. And then on that cylinder, they'll use a duck fabric. Sometimes they use a metal mesh, depending on the fabric and the durability testing. And then it will rub that across. So once across and once back is considered one double rub. Again, it's to stimulate someone sitting down and standing up off of the sofa. And like we talked about last week, in order to be part of the performance category, it has to pass a double rub test at 30,000. Heavy duty is 15,000. And then that medium duty is 12,000. And then I do want to have you guys take a look at a video here that shows how that test works. Okay, great. Now you've seen that video, you guys can really have a better understanding of how that particular machine works and the testing that we do on that. The next test that we do is the Martindale abrasion test. Some companies do use this test machine as their overall durability or performance test. We actually happen to use it as one of our pill tests. So sometimes you'll get competitors that come in or customers that come in that have been to a competitor and they say, oh, well, their fabric passed, 40,000 double rubs or something different. Sometimes it is a Weizenbeek test and they have different requirements for their particular company testing. Sometimes what they're doing is using the Martindale test, and the standards are a little bit different on Martindale than what they are on the Weizenbeek test. So they're both going to have obviously minimum requirements that they need. Each company is a little bit different. So that's where it gets a little complicated to tell your customer. But what you can tell them is we do multiple different tests, and we do this abrasion test more as a pill test. So what they do is you can see those little discs. They'll take and put the fabric on both of those discs. And then they'll rub it against itself, but they also do one with a wool or a mesh screen, again, just to make sure that the fabrics will withstand rubbing up against other fabrics, whether it be a denim or a wool or, somebody sitting on it with textured fabric or something with rhinestones, things like that. So that's the machine that we use for one of our pilling tests. We actually have two different pill tests that we do. And so again, I'll have you guys watch a little video of how that actually works in person. Okay, great. So now we've seen how the Martindale test works. Let's move on to our second type of pill test. And this is our brush pill test. So it's a little bit different than the Martindale test. You can see we've got a really long, it's kind of like a felted material, rubber material. And they use that to run back and forth to see if lint balls will form. Keep in mind that pilling is a natural process that happens in fabrics. It's not that there's a defect if a fabric pills. There are some things that can come out of the fabric naturally. It's not breaking down. The issue with pilling really occurs when people start to pull the pills out of their sofa or out of their chair. We just want to make sure that they're using a sweater shaver. It can happen naturally within that first 6 to 12 months. And so you just want to make sure if your customer is concerned about pilling or they bring it up that we let them know, unless it's an excessive amount, it's really not a defect in the fabric. It's not a defect in any of the wear. It's just a natural process for that particular fabric. We do these two pilling tests to make sure that it's not going to be extreme. But again, pilling is a natural part of some fabric processes. So on this machine, we have to pass a test at 1,500 cycles to make sure that we don't see excessive pilling on these fabrics. And again, I'll have you guys watch a short video on how this machine actually works. Okay, so now we've seen videos of all of the major machinery, and we do have one other test that we do that's really more about the seams of furniture, and that's our seam slippage test. So we warranty our seams for a year on all of our products, and part of that warranty is making sure that we can test the fabric to make sure that no matter which direction it's run, if there's tension on it, that it won't have any seam separation or slippage that comes out of it. So you can see these multiple connectors, and what those do is run samples of the fabric so that we have, whether it's the warp or weft direction, and then they put that in there and they pull across the seam to see if the fabric will shred or if it'll start to slip, allow seaming to pull through, whatever issue they may see. And then they do have a maximum on that test that they go to actually rip the seam apart. I was unable to find exactly what the poundage is or the weight, the pull that they use on this, but we do have a seam slippage test that we use on all of our fabrics before we put them into production. And that's why we can do our 1-year manufacturer's warranty on seam separation. If you guys have your new in-store loop DVD, I'm working on getting those to all the stores. I know some of the stores in Houston have them already. Dallas, I'm working on getting those to you guys, but there's a video of this machine actually working that you'll have on your in-store loop to be able to play that customers can actually see. So that's a really great way to showcase this feature itself. And I think that's all I have for today. As usual, there's a quiz. So you guys take your quiz. And if you have any questions, let me know.